everybody, welcome back. I'm Urvashi and today in this video I'm going to be talking about Saturn's transit in the nakshatra of Shravan. So I'm a couple of weeks late in making this video and this is a long transit. Saturn is going to be in Shravan for the next 1 year. So I thought I might as well now complete this video before it's even later than it already is. So first I'd like to share with you the important dates, since Saturn is going to be going through the 4 different padas of Shravan. And since many of you are watching my nakshatra videos, you will know that the energies of all the padas are very different. On the 23rd of January, Saturn entered Shravan. So of course it entered the first pada. On the 20th of February, Saturn is now going to enter the second pada. The 25th of March, it will enter the third pada, and then in the third pada, it is going to go retrograde and come back to the second pada on the 24th of July. Continues in retrograde motion, enters the first pada on the 14th of September, goes direct on the 10th of October, and enters the second pada on the 7th of November, then the third on the 21st of December, then the fourth on 21st January 2022, and on the 18th of Feb, it is going to be leaving Shravan and going towards moving into the Nishta. So that is Saturn's transit in the various padas, and I feel from this entire, all these months, I feel the 20th of February to the 25th of March, like we're going to have in the next 1 month, is an auspicious period, since it's going to be transiting in Taurus, and that is a Pushkar Navamsh. Then again, from the 7th of November to the 21st of December, Saturn is again going to go in direct motion over those Pushkar Navamsh degrees. So these 2 months, 1 month now and a month and a half, November, December, these are very auspicious timings for Saturn. But of course, Saturn is going to be impacting us depending on our moon nakshatras. The first pada is in Aries. Saturn debilitates in Aries. So entering on the 23rd of January till the 20th of February, this 1 month was slightly tougher, has been slightly tougher, and the next 1 month is going to be a little more easier, more auspicious. Saturn is going to give its benefic results, and that is going to be the Navamsha of Taurus, which is the Pushkar Navamsha. And after that, Saturn enters the zodiac sign of Gemini in Navamsha, so which is again a friendly sign for Saturn. So results for those timings for the third pada also, better than the results of the first pada. And then in the fourth pada, Saturn will be in the sign of Cancer. Again, that is not a friend's zodiac sign for Saturn. So the fourth pada and the first pada are the 2 more difficult timings. The second pada and the third pada are the 2 better timings. I've already shared the timings, the months with you. So the best is in the Pushkar Navamsh, in the zodiac sign of Gemini 2, it is good. In the Navamsh of Gemini 2, it will give good results. In the Navamsh of Aries and Cancer, not very good results. So let's talk about Shravan. What is Shravan? Shravan, this nakshatra falls between 10 degrees of Capricorn to 23 degrees 20 minutes, ruled by moon. Deity is Lord Vishnu. Very, very interesting mythological stories related to this nakshatra. I will not go into the details of the stories, but I do want to share the themes with you so that you understand what this nakshatra is about and the kind of energy that Saturn will have for us. We all know Capricorn is a very hardworking sign, very organized, very dedicated, very goal-oriented. The word Shravan, the name Shravan, reminds us of Shravan Kumar. Shravan Kumar was a son of 2 hermits. These parents of Shravan Kumar were blind, and Shravan Kumar was carrying them on a sling on his shoulders and taking them for pilgrimage. So this son of this couple was a very dedicated son, hardworking son, obedient son, very, very dedicated to his goal. That tells us about the energy that is connected to this nakshatra. Lord Vishnu is the deity of this nakshatra. There is an interesting story, I'm sure many of you must have heard of it, where King Bali, who had kind of a control over the earth, the skies, the heavens, and the hell as well. And some of the gods approached Lord Vishnu that we want to free this place from Bali. So Lord Vishnu came in the form of a small Brahmin, and he approached Bali. After a certain religious ceremony that Bali had just performed, Lord Vishnu knew that after this ceremony that Bali is now performing, Bali is not going to say no if I ask him for some charity. So Lord Vishnu, in the disguise of the small Brahmin boy, approached Bali and asked him land equivalent to 3 steps. I want that much space for myself. So King Bali was like, okay, that's fine. That's a very small amount of land, and he committed. And Shukracharya, who was standing there and who recognized that the small boy is actually Lord Vishnu, was warning Bali not to commit. But Bali committed, and immediately Lord Vishnu came in the form of Vamana avatar, this huge giant who put his first foot on the earth, the second foot on the heavens, and on the third foot he put on Bali's head. So there are so many themes in the story, First, Lord Vishnu planning this in a very strategic manner. So there's a lot of strategy, there's a lot of planning in this nakshatra. There's a lot of intelligence and cleverness to get back what is yours, or to achieve something, to do something, to achieve something using intelligence, using strategy, using some kind of a plan, having a plan. There is Shukracharya who is telling Bali not to commit. There is that small voice that is telling Bali not to commit. That is also the intuitive side of ourselves. So that represents our intuition. There is a strategy, there is an intuition, there is an ego. Bali represents ego. Sometimes we are very egoistic. We are full of ourselves and we think nothing is beyond us. We are all powerful, especially when we are in our teens, the early 20s. At that time we feel invincible. So that is what Bali represents, our egos, and the feeling of being invincible. And that third foot on Bali's head suggests finishing that ego, that invincibility factor that we have in ourselves, humbling ourselves. So all these themes are very important here in this nakshatra. This is what we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to be humbling ourselves, finishing that ego, letting go of that feeling of invincibility, and listening to advice, listening to that intuition that we have inside of ourselves, listening to the advice that is coming from somewhere else, listening, learning, gaining knowledge. King Bali did not listen to what Shukracharya was telling to him. So this nakshatra also suggests gaining knowledge, gaining wisdom from somebody who's wise, who has it, taking knowledge and using it. If you want to succeed in life, in this nakshatra, if you have important planets and if Saturn is transiting over them, remember the key is in knowledge, the key is in wisdom. This transit could be suggesting that you need to go back, take some knowledge from somewhere, take some advice, take some help from somewhere. Maybe somebody is already giving you some advice and you're not listening to it. Maybe you already know, or now you will know, that there is some piece of information, there is some advice, there is some knowledge, there is some learning that you need to do. If it is related to your career, if the sign of Capricorn is related to the 10th house, if Saturn rules the 10th house, if the 10th Lord is posited here, you need to learn something. There is some knowledge that you need to get. There is somebody you need to connect with. You need to be a listener. You need to have a guru who's telling you, who's guiding you. Or there is that intuition inside of you that you need to listen to. And there is also strategic planning, You need to plan in a very intelligent manner on how to achieve your goals. You need to be clever. Don't just keep pushing forward the way you are. So maybe for somebody like me, maybe I need somebody who guides me on how to use social media, how to use Instagram, because I'm very poor at those things. Maybe I need to learn all that if I am to connect this to myself. So since I'm using the social media, maybe I need to know how to learn Instagram. I need to learn how to use Twitter. So there is something, because there is something you need to learn, and you need to plan in a very strategic manner on how to achieve whatever you are out to achieve. This nakshatra is very, very closely connected to success. People who have important planets in this nakshatra do not want to leave things midway, or do not want to do things half-heartedly. They want to learn, they want to gain wisdom, and they want to complete their task to perfection. Like Shravan Kumar, like a very dedicated son. Imagine carrying his blind parents on his shoulders and taking them for a pilgrimage. To be that dedicated to your goals, whatever your goals are, whatever your aim is. If it is spirituality, then you need a guru, a mentor, somebody who can guide you, who can tell you what you're supposed to be doing. If it's your career, if it's your profession, like I said, you just need to learn and you need to plan in a very strategic manner. Number 2. Number 3, let go of your ego. The power of this nakshatra is to be able to connect with others. You need to connect with others. You need to bond with others. You need to communicate. You need to listen. You need to learn. This nakshatra is signified by the ear. The ear is the organ that is connected to this nakshatra. You need to listen to others. You need to connect. You need to talk. Communication. There could be travel involved in this nakshatra. So that little Brahmin boy took those 3 steps. There are steps. There is movement. There is action. There is goal. There is achievement connected to this nakshatra. So there could be travel. Depending on how well posited this nakshatra is for you, or what kind of results you're going to get from your moon. So if this is going to give you good results from your moon, then this could be positive travel, positive knowledge, positive advice that you get and that you should take. And if this transit is not very favorable for you, then there could be aimless wandering, wastage of time, listening to gossip, listening to rumors, getting some negative piece of advice and feeling that very deeply, because this nakshatra is ruled by the moon. Saturn transiting here could affect our emotions a little bit. So if this transit is from your moon nakshatra not a very good transit, you could be feeling little low during this time, getting some sad news, getting some bad feedback, aimlessly wandering about, indulging in gossip, indulging in loose talk that backfires, that kind of a thing. So it could be either ways. Now I'm going to be talking about from your birth nakshatra, how or what kind of results or effects you will get. So let's suppose your birth nakshatra is Shravan, or it's Rohini, or it's Hasta. The moon nakshatras, one of the moon nakshatras is your birth nakshatra. In that case, if it is Shravan, then you are in the peak of Sadesati. Certain happenings could happen, certain incidents could happen that boggle you down a little bit. So this can be mentally little stressful for Shravan people, since you're in the peak of Sadesati. Even for Hasta, certain incidents, certain happenings that make you think a lot. Your thinking patterns may change. Sometimes we face certain circumstances in life that bring a lot of humility, right? So that kind of a thing could happen for you. This could be a time of learning, of changing your mindset. For Rohini, this could be a very creative period, a period of opportunities related to your career and creativity. For the second set of nakshatras, for the sun-ruled nakshatras such as Kritika, Uttara Falguni and Uttarashadha. So this is a very, very supportive time. This is a time of prosperity. For Uttarashadha, the part that is in Sagittarius, you will feel results. There could be changes related to your financial situation, related to your career on the positive side. For the other two, for Kritika as well as for Uttara Falguni, it is a positive time. Financial gains could be there for you. Easy results will be there for you. Opportunities and general prosperity. For the Venus ruled nakshatras, for Bharani, Purav Falguni and Purav Shada. For these three nakshatras, there could be more obstacles. There could be more hurdles. Especially for Purav Shada, because you are still in the third phase of Sadesati. Financially, you need to be extra careful. There could be obstacles in your financial gains, especially Purav Shada, but even for the other two, for Bharani and for Purav Falguni, more obstacles, more hurdles. Sometimes we are in a situation where we are not given the credit for our work, unexpected results, or hidden enemies coming about. So that kind of a situation. For the Ketu ruled nakshatras, for Ashwini, for Magha and Moola, more comfort. This is a very supportive time. You'll be feeling more confident, especially Moola nakshatra people. This could be a relief for you, somewhat of a relief. Financial relief could be there. But even for the other two nakshatras, for Ashwini and Magha, this is going to be financially a relief, more confidence you will feel now, and happiness, good times with your family. For the Mercury ruled nakshatras, which are Jyeshtha, Ashlesha and Revati. For these three nakshatras, this is going to be a more competitive time. Especially for Jyeshtha, you will feel more blockages. Especially if you have planets in Jyeshtha, you will feel there are more blockages on your way, more obstacles, and there could be change in your career path as well. But even the other two nakshatras, Revati and Ashlesha as well. Then for the Saturn ruled nakshatras, for Pushya, for Anuradha and for Uttara Bhadrapad, this is like a very good transit for you people. More support. You will be more supportive to others. You will be more helpful to others. In the process, you will gain wealth, and this could bring fame to you, achievement. A sense of achievement will be there for you. So this nakshatra is very, very auspicious for you, and Saturn's transit here will be very supportive in your work, whatever it may be. Then for the Jupiter ruled nakshatras, that is for Vishakha, for Punarvasu and for Purv Bhadrapad. So for Jupiter ruled nakshatras, this is not going to be a very good transit. Unexpected results, unexpected up and down. Be very cautious. Listen to that piece of advice that you're getting. Do not get involved in gossip or useless, talk here and there. Do not be so upset about any negative feedback you get. So suddenly you get some negative feedback and you feel very low, or you listen to bad advice and you get an unexpected result. So be very cautious of who you're listening to, what you're doing, what your actions are. So for these three nakshatras, more caution is advised. Then for the Rahu ruled nakshatras, for Ardra, for Swati and Shadbisha. For these three, this is a good supportive time. More creative energy you will feel, more support in whatever you do. Unexpectedly good results also could be there for you. Then the Mars ruled nakshatras, Dhanishta, Mrigashira and Chitra. For these three, for Dhanishta, I would say you are, the next transit is going to be of Saturn is going to be over Dhanishta. So Dhanishta, be extra cautious with your decisions, with your actions, about who you're listening to. But all in all, this is a great transit for you. This is going to be a very, very supportive energy in whatever you do. So generally, this is a good transit. Dhanishta people who are in, if your moon is in Aquarius especially, you could have transfers, relocations, that kind of a thing. So that is the general analysis of this transit, and from your moon nakshatra. But remember, Saturn moving through the second pada is the best transit in all these three padas. I've already shared the months with you, and now we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.